Hello, I am back, and today we will be reviewing the Faber-Castell colored pencils, and also the Prismacolor Pastel colored pencils. Now, these two products, they are not pastels, they are colored pencils in pastel tones. And oh, I think did I get robbed? Let's see. Okay. For this one, there are actually only six Prismacolor pastel pencils. So those two straws that you saw were were actually just fillers. I kind of wish they would have just added two more colored pencils, but it's okay. We're just trying to see what they look like. Now, I own Prismacolor colored pencils, the regular set, about 70 of them. And so I didn't actually see anything remotely similar in this kind of muted pastel tone in the regular set. So I felt like it was still worth it to at least have some information. Now we can move on to swatching the Faber-Castell. I really liked the fact that this comes in this little cute case with a window. I just thought that was a really nice touch. Now, out of the box, they do kind of feel like just regular pencils. And I don't know how to really explain that, but it feels like they're meant for writing more than coloring. I mean, I can obviously see the pigment come off on the page, and I love the fact that, they have this kind of triangular body for the pencil, and the core is on the smaller side. But I most definitely see through some of these colors. I think they're good choices, and the actual body of the pencil varies in color, and it just kind of seems that they're meant for writing. Yeah, but these colors are super cool. They are kind of a good range. So if you wanted to bring them out for a walk or to sketch outside, it's a good travel set because then you have a case. And now I'm just going to draw a little picture to try to see what it looks like to have the Prismacolor Junior pastels on one side and then the Faber-Castell pastels, sparkle pastels on the other side. And usually I don't draw anything too big, but I did want to see how much these pencils can cover. What I'm learning is that there is a difference between colored pencils that can cover a large portion of the paper versus colored pencils that are more detail based, are meant for like shorter strokes and different things like that. I think my goal is to kind of go through a lot of different brands to see what I like, but I also just want to kind of experiment and mix and match. I'm in a period of exploration right now, and I think that majority of the products that I've seen, through the years, especially, nostalgia products like Prismacolors and Tombows and all those different materials have kind of changed formula over the years. And so I'm immersing myself in the different brands that I like, what I don't like, and what I find useful, and not really thinking about necessarily the price of every item, but the quality of each item. Because you could have 10 colored pencils with a good range and that are not as expensive as some of these brands out here, and it does wonders, and it creates a palette. And I think amongst both of these, if I took either one outside, I'm still going to have some type of color palette that I can work with. um, Now there aren't that many browns or any browns at all in the actual sets. So I guess this is more kind of a novelty set or something that someone could use if they just want to have fun or something that you would give to a child. But I love kids' products. Sometimes kids' products are less intimidating and they're good for practice. And I don't know, I just feel like if I could compare the two, it would be really good. And I could have this sketch and really understand the differences between the products and which one I would continue to buy more of. Now I am starting to go over this side, and I love the feel of it. And these are a little bit creamy. They're not as creamy as the original Prismacolor. But I do have to note, I did a little bit of research, and these are actually from Brazil. So I'm not sure if they have a junior pastel set for the US. But when you buy things on Amazon, sometimes you don't even realize that it's not from the US. And I noticed on the actual box that the colors were listed in Spanish. And so I figured, it might be a different formula. It might feel a little different, but it could feel a little different for two reasons. One, maybe it's not from the US, so the formula is different. Or two, it's a simple pastel set that is meant to serve a particular purpose. And so it might not feel, I guess, as creamy as the regular Prismacolor. But I thoroughly enjoyed laying down the color. And no, it is not as opaque. They're pastels. But, I do see that I can lay down a color and then I can layer some shadow over it so the picture doesn't look too flat, and I can really get in there and make something that was meant to be simple um, stay simple. Not everything is meant to be complex. Now I'm going to go over to the Faber-Castell side. I have more options and colors when it comes to the set, but I really just want to compare it with similar colors that I chose for the Prismacolor colored pencil pastels. This one is laying down a little bit scratchy. Now I will say, like, the Prismacolors are softer and creamier, but this is, like I said before, very pencil-like. And I laid down the color, but when I tried to add another layer of shadows and like tentacles and things like that, it kind of got a little bit weird on me. I'm not gonna lie. I felt like I was using a regular number 2 pencil that just happened to have color to fill in this. But overall, it was just, I would say it didn't look bad. Like if you were using it for sketches, it would be okay. But overall, I did feel like it was very hard to put pigment down on the paper. And I must say, I'm going to get into paper on this channel as well, because I've been exploring different sketchbooks. So if you see me say anything contrary, meaning like this worked really well on this paper and this worked really horribly on, overall, I really enjoyed these colored pencils.